You are very aware of that you are an old soul. You're a spiritual being and quite different from most humans around you. But you're also not being kind to yourself. In spite of being an old soul and a lot wiser than most people, you are a young human being. You will make mistakes. You will make, pardon the language, shitty decisions, like everyone else. And you should be as kind to you as you are to everyone else. You are never judgmental. You are a very kind human. But when you contemplate your own decisions and your missteps, you judge yourself from the perspective of that you should have known better because you know you are wise. So give yourself the same kind of kind treatment that you give everyone else. She's also telling me in these cards that I read before I turned on the camera that you have issues finding balance in your life. But quite a lot of the time it's that you have much too little energy. And sometimes when you think you have too much, it's actually in reality too little. And the fact that you're anxious and nervous and can't settle down isn't because you're energetic. It's because you're actually quite exhausted. Part of the reason for this is the other beings in your life, not the spirits, the humans, and that there are too many around you who don't understand your need for seclusion and that you have to be able to pull back once in a while. I know that you do your absolute best to set up borders at work, but even so, it happens a lot of the time that you get bad advice from people who keep telling you that you're helpless and that you don't have the tools to get out of your situation yourself, which you actually do have. And from people who think that closeness will solve your issues when what you need is actually the opposite. I think it's very important that you when you make new acquaintances and new friends or new colleagues, that you consider the role you are going to play in their lives and the role that they are going to play in your life early on in the relationship, because otherwise you're letting them define the role all the time, and that is actually not good at all. One reason why this isn't good is because you are very likable, and a lot of people are drawn towards you, and they will want to have a lot more of you than you can give. They will not realize how much of your energy they might be stealing from you when they're just being kind, because they are not like you. They don't need seclusion, and then they don't need personal space the way you do. It's not always easy to explain that to people because they might get really hurt. But to gain more balance in your life, you will have to do this because you need positive relationships. And worst case scenario, you'll end up in a cycle where you avoid relationships or you end relationships abruptly because you don't know how to rein them in so that they are not running you. And because of this, it's really important that you define your borders early on and then you stick to them, even though it's not always easy. Things are definitely looking brighter. As a matter of fact, life is very seldom easy. for the truly spiritual. It isn't. You can't avoid to share other people's pains. You can't avoid worrying. You probably worry about people you haven't even met. But from where you're standing at this point, it's actually looking like the future is a lot brighter. And we're not talking long-term perspective. We're talking short-term perspective, like maybe this winter, or maybe you're already in this positive cycle that's going to get even better further on. So, I hope this made some kind of sense to you. And I want to again thank you for the reading you did for me. It really meant a lot to me.